Let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking something incredibly powerful. Kenneth Menshaw's definitive 2026 reference guide on commercial AI image generation. Now, this isn't just some list of cool prompts to play around with on the weekend. No, this is a highly technical, deep dive manual. It's all about how to transform AI from a fun novelty into a precise, revenue-generating tool. If you want to know how the pros are actually controlling these systems, literally down to the decimal point, you are absolutely in the right place.
I love this quote because it completely reframes how we need to be thinking. For years, people just typed a few descriptive words and crossed their fingers, hoping for the best. But Munz is saying, look, we have to stop treating engines like Midjourney V6 and Stable Diffusion XL like magic boxes. They aren't magic. They're industrial engines governed by precise math, explicit vocabulary, and entirely predictable mechanics. When you stop hoping for magic and start actually operating the levers, that is when you unlock true commercial-grade quality.
Okay, here is our quick game plan for today. We're going to cover the end of amateur AI, mastering core mechanics, cinematic lighting, precision architecture, flawless e-commerce mockups, and finally, human portraiture.
Section 1. The end of amateur AI. Let's start by looking at what really separates a weekend hobbyist from a top-tier commercial prompt engineer in 2026.
Consider the stark difference between these two approaches. A prompt like "nice sunny day, good lighting" relies on totally vague, low-information tokens. To an AI, words like good or nice are incredibly diffuse. They give zero strong directional signal. But when a pro uses precise, weighted parameters, like golden hour side lighting 1.1, they're mechanically locking in a commercial-grade result. They're using the exact specific terminology that these AI models learned from actual professional photographers during their training.
All right, moving into Section 2, mastering core AI mechanics. To actually achieve that professional level we just talked about, we really need to understand the distinct structural mechanics of both Midjourney and Stable Diffusion XL.
Think of these parameters as your mechanical levers. In Midjourney, using a double colon followed by a number, like 0.5 or 1.5, lets you blend your subprompts completely independently. Stable Diffusion XL, on the other hand, uses parentheses and numbers to directly multiply the attention weight on specific words right in its text encoder. Understanding these exact numerical ranges, like knowing exactly when to crank a stylized setting up to 750 or drop it all the way down to 50, is literally what dictates your paycheck in this field.
Let's look at the CFG scale in SDXL as a perfect example of one of these mechanical levers. Now you might be thinking, hey, I want the AI to strictly follow my prompt, so I'll just crank the CFG scale way up to 10 or 15, right? Actually, scratch that. You can't just crank it up without totally breaking the photorealism of your image. Keeping it carefully constrained between 5 and 8 is what gives you that perfect sweet spot, following your instructions strictly while keeping a natural, photographic look without frying the whole image with nasty oversaturation artifacts.
Which brings us to Section 3, cinematic lighting and composition. Mastering this is arguably the highest leverage skill in all of prompt engineering.
Lighting vocabulary is absolutely everything here. If you don't explicitly state the contrasting physical color temperatures in your prompt, like deliberately pitting a warm 3200 Kelvin key light against a cool 5600 Kelvin fill light, well, the model is just going to average everything out. And the result, you get this boring, flat, single-source light that just screams amateur. You have to force that contrast.
And this is a great point. We have to think physically, not just visually. You can't just ask the AI for volumetric God rays and expect a masterpiece. It doesn't work like that. You have to mechanically build the environment first. You must add an explicit physical precondition like dense atmospheric haze or dust particles. Why? Because the light literally needs physical particular matter to bounce off of in the render to even exist.
Okay, Section 4, precision architectural rendering. Now we're applying this mechanical precision to a major commercial vertical, where one warped window or physically impossible overhang means you instantly lose the client. Real estate developers need to see the actual buildable property, not a fantasy painting. So using Midjourney's -- style raw parameter is an absolute non-negotiable here. It strips away the AI's default beautification layer, because without it, the engine might just decide to throw in some gorgeous but totally fake trees, or give your brutalist office building a fairy tale sunset that completely misrepresents the site. Raw mode keeps it honest and commercially viable.
So, what if your client wants to see their building in brick instead of concrete, but the exact window placements absolutely cannot change? Here is your exact Stable Diffusion workflow. First, you use a canny edge control net at a high weight, like 0.9, to rigorously lock down those hard geometric lines. Next, you prompt your new facade materials. But here's the secret sauce. Step 3. You end that control net guidance just a bit early, around 0.85. This gives the base model just enough breathing room to beautifully render the fine texture of the new brick without being overly restricted by the original lines. It's a total game changer.
Moving right along to Section 5, Flawless E-commerce product shots. This is a massive vertical, and there's absolutely zero tolerance for inconsistency here. A brand's catalog has to look perfectly uniform.
In e-commerce, consistency is everything. If you've ever tried to generate a product rotation across multiple angles, you already know the massive headache of the label magically drifting around or the bottle cap slightly changing color between the front and side views. So, how do we actually stop this drift?
The answer is seed locking. Taking a massive specific seed number and locking that exact noise pattern across all your sequential prompts is the actual mechanical lever that guarantees perfect rotational consistency. The AI is starting from the exact same mathematical foundation every single time, which means only the camera angle changes, not the product's DNA.
Let's troubleshoot some really common e-commerce failures. AI is famously terrible at generating text, right? So we use masked in painting with a precise 0.55D noise strength to generate a clean, blank placeholder label and then just drop the real logo in during post. What if your metal packaging looks like dull plastic? You have to explicitly prompt realistic environment reflections onto that chrome surface. And for those flat lay images where your props look like they're hovering in midair, you have to assign a much lower weight to your props, like 0.5, so they aren't fighting the main product, which sits at 1.2, for the AI's attention.
Finally, Section 6, Perfecting Human Portraiture. This is where the uncanny valley makes even the tiniest structural or textural errors completely obvious to your clients.
Look, if you want authentic, editorial quality portraits, you have to actively fight the AI's core training bias. Left alone, AI defaults to this plastic, over-smoothed CGI beauty filter look. You have to mechanically force imperfections. You literally need to type out visible skin pores and texture and weight it heavily like 1.3. At the same time, you've got to build a fortress of negative prompts. Aggressively penalize terms like airbrush skin, waxy texture, and even perfectly symmetrical face. Real human faces aren't perfectly symmetrical, and your prompts shouldn't be either.
So, what does this all mean for us? We've covered a ton of ground today looking at the exact weights, parameters, and vocabularies the top-tier pros use. This explainer shows the commercial success in AI isn't about luck anymore, it's an applied science. So I'll leave you with this. If AI is a mechanical system where your exact vocabulary dictates the output, are you still hoping for a magic box to do the work for you? Or are you ready to step up, take control, and operate the levers? It's time to stop guessing and start engineering.